Good morning, guys. It is 9:05 a.m. on Wednesday, the I can't remember 174th day I'm doing this. Here's your daily dose of hope until I find it. Um, the facts are I need to lock my rock so that you don't get dizzy. um, the facts are I woke up with a flashback again. But I have my new rule of immediately turning on a meditation. And I did, I think, 2 or 3 meditations because I basically am having these time bumpers now for myself in the midst of the chaos, right? If there wasn't chaos, it wouldn't have to be quite so specific. But that's my point. I'm not going to have a single day of my life anymore be ruined, is my point. Like, well, I'm waiting on this to be happy, or I'm waiting on this to do something nice for myself, or I'm waiting on my family to accept me in order to feel good. So I made a rule with myself that, because I think I woke up right before 4 a.m. However, I realized after doing the meditations and stuff, which opens your brain to like now and like possibilities, is I watched YouTube last night. It wasn't bad, but it was about ADHD, and like this woman was on who is neurotypical, and I think it triggered me, to be perfectly honest. Not her words per se, but realizing good for her, like genuinely good for her. Like I'm like kudos to her for finally recognizing that people have different brains and to accept people. But I think deep down it triggered a lot of rejection I have had. I don't even know if I have ADHD, like I've always said, but my thing is labels don't actually matter. It's the symptoms and how it affects you, right? That's what we care about. So, that being said, I did do a meditation after that, but I'm all about optimizing my life to maximize my joy. And so I decided, new rule, no media once I go upstairs. So I can do meditations, I can do tapping, I can journal, but no, yeah, basically no media. I can talk to people, I can do Zooms, but I think it's almost like alcohol or something where like you fall asleep, but you don't get as deep rested sleep because your brain is still processing things. So that's exciting though, because see, that's a step I can take to possibly improve my situation with that. But that being said, the facts are I think I basically stay in bed until my daughter, gets ready, like is ready. And so when I wake up at 4 a.m., even though I'm tired, I'm waking up because of a flashback. I'm like, okay, what's the most loving thing you can do? And so because of that, just like time wise, I ended up, I think, doing 3 meditations, breath work, affirmations, and maybe, I don't think I did any tapping. And then after she left for school, I know she has a shortened day again today. And so I said, okay, so what do you want to actually do that you can do that doesn't depend on anybody else and is actually good for you? And so what I ended up doing was keeping the earbuds in, turning on something that's soothing for me, and but also gets me going, so that I'm not internally distracted as I'm just trying to freaking get up. And I did that, and I washed my face, and I was like, okay, now we're gonna go downstairs. We're gonna drink at least. I started drinking wheatgrass juice or wheatgrass powder, and drinking a lot of water, and just letting my brain wake up a bit. And then I was like, okay, what's the next step? I also wrote down the things I want to get done today before she gets back. So I'm definitely in like the process of everything. But what I can say is I ended up taking my walk, listening to a meditation there and back. That was a positive input. That's good for my body. You know, you're outside, you're getting vitamin D. Like all of these things are just universally good. Now, I might have to, because I'm on my own, I might have to do a little more work to still do something that someone gets to take for granted. That's fine. I'm a hard worker. I just was directing my work towards the wrong people and the wrong things. That's the actual truth, you know? So, anyway, I just want to give hope for people, but not in a trite or like, you know, I'm not going to say I didn't have a flashback, but that's default programming. That's like if you have two people that want to go on a trip. This just came to me. This is what happened. You have two people that want to go on a trip to Europe. One person, their parents immediately give them 20 grand to go on a trip. The second person doesn't have that. Do they deserve to go on the trip any less? No. And if they really want to go on the trip, they're going to have to be a lot more creative. But they don't deserve it any less. You see what I'm saying? Like we deserve to go for what makes us genuinely happy. So when I think of people who have someone to go to the gym with, you know, or they have that safety and they choose not to do it, it's fine if they don't want to do it. But if they're like, well, I can't, it's like, I have compassion for them, but I also am like, but you actually have the ability and the safety and the, you know, but you know, like I said, everybody has the right to choose what makes them genuinely happy. And that's what I'm really in the process of, in the midst of the chaos, figuring out what gives me the best bang for my buck emotionally. And I was thinking, well, it would have been better if I'd walked with a friend. Not necessarily. I'm open to that. But I'm not going to spend, let's say, 2 hours trying to get a hold of someone. You know, it's like, I want to go. I can go. I have so much responsibility on my shoulders every day anyway. That type of thing. It really is incredible. And I don't have money for a gym membership right now and like the driving and stuff, but I can take a walk. I'm grateful that there's sidewalks here, you know? And so, anyway, it just takes a day from, if I'd gone with the default and stayed in the default, I probably would have cried all day, but until my daughter got home. And I was still stepped up as a mom because that's what I do every day. But I wouldn't have given myself any positivity. You know, it's like I'm literally just waiting for this pain to subside before I could be happy. No. So you have neural, what are they called? Neural networks or whatever. And that's what I'm realizing too. And I only speak of my own experience. I can't claim that this will work for everybody or this is right for everybody. But I will say that when I had the flashback and I didn't bulldoze it by like jumping out of bed, right? I acknowledged it. And then I went, yep, that's default programming. That sucks that that person did that. You know? Now, how can I help you, meaning my inner child, possibly feel better about it, you know, in a healthy way, all right? We all have coping things. How many of them are actually healthy? So I also put up affirmations on my closet and like post-it notes. So I don't know. I don't know what I said, but I really feel like I'm a channel, meaning we all are. And I really want to be the best I can be every day in a genuine, natural way. Not looking impressive. I don't care about that, frankly. But, like, whenever I pass away, if I'm telling the truth and I've helped one person, then that's worth it to me because I do it for my daughter every day despite all odds, and she's not going to go through anything I went through, you know? So it's like I know this stuff works. And not only am I experiencing it, I, am not constantly, but daily researching and correlating, like corresponding information that's saying all the same quote unquote basic things. And to be honest, it's normal to be sad if you've been rejected by the very people that you should have been the safest with. That's a normal reaction. So, one of the things I want to start saying when I do have a flashback is return to sender. Like, is this a thought that I want to keep in my mind all day? Or do I want to rewire and say, yeah, that is why you held yourself back in the past. That's why you would have never done a channel like this in the past, because you hear it's not about you, get over yourself, your piece of whatever, right? And that's a very strong neural network when it's been your childhood and when you know, like times you're the most vulnerable, the most just open, and to get smashed down, of course, right? However, it's not impossible. So then it was like, okay, so the facts are that doing the meditations, doing the, doing all the things I've already done today at 9:16 a.m. is strengthening that other network that's the truth network, right? That says, why would you be any less deserving than anyone else? That makes no sense. So it's not true, you know? So that being said, if I can help in any way, that truly is my desire. Because I really believe there are very kind people out there that end up shrinking because of all sorts of reasons. And our world, and I'm not getting political or anything like that, I'm just saying the world needs love, and it needs kindness, and it needs gentle souls. So if those are just getting smashed to smithereens, that's not good for the world, you know? And that's what the podcast was about, was becoming friends, like with different brains, and recognizing the value in that. It's not just we're going to accept these people, we're going to celebrate these people, because they're what makes life actually fun and interesting. That's the thing I decided, I don't know when, because I don't perceive time in a linear way. And you know what? A lot of times that's really fun. But at some point, I realized I've got all the things that the quote-unquote neurotypical, whatever you want to call it, people have as far as abilities and characteristics. But that life is not for me. That life is like the life where it's like, oh, well, if no one called you, then I guess you just have to stay at home. It's like, why? I don't know if that makes sense, but that's okay. Remember, you are the sky. You were here yesterday. You're here today. You will be here tomorrow. And you deserve to be here every single day. And I want you to, so what I've started doing is like, make a list of things that, yeah, maybe other people get to take for granted. Good for them. Just keep saying, good for you, like in your mind. Like, that's great. I still deserve it. How can I still get it, right? Possibly get it. And one of the things the person said too was they didn't realize that the things, like the tasks for neurodivergent, whatever you want to call it, I think we're all just different, but the hurdles are higher. So you're going to be more tired because the hurdles are, like, I had a professor in college, this just came to me. I'm left-handed. He actually said I'm going to die sooner because the world's made for right-handers. He was a jerk, But anyway, I know I'm all over the place. That's part of it. I also haven't eaten anything. But I'm also just like spitting truth, like honestly. And I've realized that if I end up spending a lot of time by myself because I refuse to do things anymore that aren't good for me, So I refuse to do that. So as I'm figuring out the new path and everything, I'm just telling myself, well, then I want to have my environment, my internal environment, be as fun and loving as possible. And if it's like, well, why don't you love yourself? How could I? If you knew what I've been through, and what I'm currently going through. It's not that I can't. It's that I need to teach myself even how to do that. And that's what I do every day. So, and like I said, one of my favorite quotes that I came up with is like, the harder the battle, the sweeter the victory. Because what you're saying is I deserve it just as much as the person who maybe has like the smoother sailing. Great. How can I still have it if I want it? You know? And that's what I'm doing. Just fighting for my right to live and to be genuinely and naturally happy and to spread it to other people. So I love you guys. Have an awesome day.